Hi everyone, Angie from LO Baby again, and I am here to show you how to do row 12 and 13 in the Ihana Convertible Cowl pattern. Now I am using, once again, this is my Furls Odyssey crochet hook. This is a size L, which is a 7mm from Furls Crochet. Now other brands may mark L as an 8mm, but Furl says it's a 7mm, so that's what we're going to go with. Okay, and I am using, I love this chunky yarn. This is a 5 bulky weight yarn from Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. It is a Hobby Lobby store brand, so you cannot get this anywhere else other than Hobby Lobby. Okay, now we're going to pretend here that I did the correct number of repeats of row 5, but since this is just a sample to show you the stitches, I only did in the video for row 5 and 1 repeat, and then we're going to jump ahead to row 12, just pretend that all the other rows are there. Okay, so row 11 is just a row of single crochets to top off row 5 and the repeat of row 5. So for row 12, I'm going to do a turning chain of 3, 1, 2. I'm going to put my stitch marker like I always do onto my working loop right here, and that is going to tell me when I come back on the next row where the last stitch in that row needs to be placed. And I'm going to do my 3rd chain. That is going to count as a double crochet. So when I turn this, my next stitch is going to go in stitch 2 and not in the base of that chain. If you work in the base of that chain, what that is going to do is give you an increase of 1 stitch, and your stitch count is going to be wrong. So I've got my turning chain of 3, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in the next space, and then a double crochet in the 3rd space, right like so. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3 double crochets right like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches. So here's stitch 1, 2, 3, stitch 4, stitch 5 is going to be skipped, and then I am going to come into this next stitch here and do a shell stitch. Now for the purposes of this pattern and in the stitch descriptions, you will see that a shell stitch is a combination of 3 double crochets followed by a chain followed by 3 more double crochets, all in the same stitch space. So there's my 3 double crochets, my chain 1, and then I'm going to do 3 more double crochets in that same stitch. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pull this out and show you. This is my shell. Got 1, 2, 3 double crochets. I've got a chain 1. Oops, there we go. Chain 1 right there. 3 more double crochets. And then what I'm going to do, you see how all of that is in the same stitch. Then I'm going to go 1 stitch here, 2 stitches there. I'm going to skip those and go to the 3rd stitch from my shell, and I am going to place a double crochet. So let me show you that. So I've got 1, 2, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, skip 2, a shell stitch, skip 1, 2, and then a double crochet. Then I'm going to repeat that. Okay, I'm going to repeat from the double crochet. I'm going to skip 2. I'm going to do a shell. Again, a shell is, oh, my yarn's getting a little twisted up on each other. Working with bulky yarn can be a little challenging, and it's something that I've been practicing because bulky yarn can be very splitty, and if you don't use a big enough hook, you're more likely to snag. I am using a 7mm because it is the largest Odyssey hook that I have, and honestly I prefer Odyssey hooks to any of the other hooks I've ever used because they have a heavier weight to them, and they have the what they call an ergonomic design to them, so they fit in my hand easier. And I have big hands. I wear a size 11 ring. Here, just to show you my hook real quick. How it comes kind of skinny here, then it tapers to be fat in the middle, and then it goes down to skinny. That is an ergonomic design. These are also very well made. They're very chunky. They've got a really good weight to them, and I hold my hook in what they call a knife hold, so it gives a good swell. It puts that fat part right in the palm of my hand. Makes it very comfortable for me to hold. I have some, not necessarily arthritis issues, but I do have like some tendonitis issues, but I digress. Anyways, I've got my shell stitch. I'm going to skip 2. I'm going to do another double crochet. Right, like so. I'm going to skip 2, do another shell. Now notice that I'm not putting any kind of chains in between the double crochets and the shell. The only chain that I am doing is in the shell stitch itself. 3 double crochet, a chain 1, 3 more double crochets. That makes my shell 1. I'm trying to keep my hand centered on the camera, guys. Girls, ladies, gentlemen, folks, humans, whoever is watching this. Get around that. There we go. Okay. And then now, after my last shell, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches left. Okay, so let me show you this. We've got 3 double crochet, skip 2, shell, skip 2, double crochet, skip 2, shell, skip 2, double crochet, skip 2, shell. Now, if I do a skip 2 and then a double crochet, I'm going to have 2 stitches left. So when you get to the end of your row, however many stitches you are working, you're going to have 5 left after your shell. So here's my shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to skip 2, skip 1, skip 2, and I'm going to place a double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. So I have 3 double crochet to start the row, and I'm going to have 3 double crochet to end the row. That is the end of row 12. Now to do row 13, we're just going to move right on into row 13. I'm going to do my turning chain of 3, do my chain 2, move my stitch marker like always, do my 3rd chain. That counts as my double crochet, guys. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn. I'm going to do a double crochet in the top of those other 2 double crochets that I did at the end of the row. So this row starts just like the last one. Okay, so I have my turning chain 3, which counts as my double, another double. So that is 3 double crochets at the end, at the beginning rather, of row 13. Now what I'm going to do after that one, I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2. I'm going to come right into this shell. Okay, I'm using my tablet to view the pattern on to make sure I don't screw up and it keeps turning itself off. So I did my chain 2, 1, 2. I'm going to come into this, remember that chain 1 space, you got your 3 doubles, your chain 1, your 3 doubles. I'm going to go into that chain space and I am going to do a single crochet into the top of that, like so. Then I'm going to chain 2 again. Then I'm going to come to this double crochet. I'm going to skip all of those. Okay, I skipped the first 3 double crochet with my shell, did a single crochet in the chain space. I'm going to skip the second set of 3 double crochet in my shells. I'm going to come to this double crochet here. I'm going to front post double crochet around it. So if you remember from the row 5 video, a front post, you come in from the front, you hook around the post, come back from the back, you pull your yarn up around it, and then complete a double crochet like so. What that does is that gives that really pretty detailing. Then we're going to chain 2 again, go to the next shell, skip all of that there, single crochet into the chain space at the top of the shell, chain 2, front post around the standalone double crochet, chain 2, and we're just repeating that. Single crochet in the top of the shell like so. Okay, and this is our last shell. I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to skip all of these, and then I'm going to do double crochets in my last 3 stitches. So this is one right here, double crochet in that one, double crochet in this one, and then this was the beginning of row 12 where I had my turning chain 3. I've got my stitch marker in there like so in the 3rd chain. I'm going to use that. I'm going to kind of pull it out a little bit, wiggle it, kind of create a little bit of gapping to try to get my hook in there. Using such a big hook can be hard to get into chains sometimes. Sometimes you got to do a little bit of fancy hook work. Sometimes instead of using the head, I'll use the hook and I'll go in, kind of like force my way in there. There's around 1. Oops, keeps slipping out. That's what she said. Sorry. Okay. See, got it in 1. Let me get it in the other. Oh gosh, this is embarrassing. Now isn't it? I'm supposed to be teaching you new techniques and tricks. I can't even get my hook into the chain. I crochet very tightly. It's just something I do without even thinking about it. Oh, do I got it? Do I got it? Do I got it? Do I got it? Maybe. I'm going to drop that working yarn. I need it to come out right. There. Got it. Yay! There we go. If I can rub that on the hook, I've got it. I'm going to pull through, do my last double crochet. That was really embarrassing, guys. I had to do that. Okay, so that is row 12 and 13. You got 12 with the shell, you got 13 with the chains. Now we're going to move right into row 14. And row 14 is very easy. You're just basically doing a repeat of the single crochet row. So I've got my chain 1 for my turning chain. I'm going to move my hook, or my stitch marker rather. Okay, I'm going to turn, and I'm going to single crochet into the tops of my previous row stitches. And the only reason why I'm showing you this row is so that you can see where the stitches are placed. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Right here I've got my chain 2, and I am actually going to place 2 single crochets into that chain space. 1, 2, just like that. Here, let me show you. And then I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the top of that single crochet. I can get it through the actual stitch. There we go. Right there, like so. Okay, then I'm going to do 2 single crochets around the chain space, like that. Then 1 single crochet in the top of the front post double crochet. So let me show you that. I've got a single crochet in each of my doubles, 2 single crochet around the chain, 1 single crochet in the top of the single, 2 single crochet around the chain, and then 1 single crochet in the top of my front post double crochet. And you're just going to do that all the way across. However many stitches you have, your count on this row should be the very same count as your row 1. We are not adding or losing any stitches, even though we technically added extra stitches with the shells. Oh, goodness, I'm having difficulty with this. Should have used a thinner yarn for these tutorials, but this one is so pretty and I wanted to see how it would work out before I actually used it for a project. But I definitely need to buy some bigger hooks from Furls. Unless, hey Furls, you want to sponsor me? I would love a pink with nickel tip hook in an 8mm and a silver with nickel tip hook in a 9mm. And you know, guys, you've got the forest green hook, which is gorgeous with the gold tips, but you don't have it with the nickel tips. So get on that, and I would love that, and a 10mm. I personally prefer the silver tips, the nickel tips with the silver finish, to the gold tips, because I'm not much of a gold girl. Even my wedding ring is white gold. Okay, this is where my stitch marker is. That is my last stitch, and let's see if I can actually get the hook in to that chain, or if I'm going to embarrass myself like I did last time. Let's see. I'm going to embarrass myself. I know I am. So not used to bulky yarn. Alright, I've got it in one part of the chain. I like putting it around 2 loops of the chain, like the V, to make it kind of uniform with the other stitches. Almost. The yarn is splitting a little bit on me, and that's my fault. That's not the yarn's fault. The yarn's only going to do what you tell it to do. There. Ah, got it. There we go. I'm going to do my single crochet right there. Okay, so I'm going to show you rows 12, 13, and 14 finished. Now the cool thing about these rows is that when you do that front post on one side of the pattern, it kind of pushes those shells forward and gives you a little bit of that V ridge detail across the shells. But if you flip it over to the other side, this is why there is no wrong or right side. You've got it pushed back, and you get this beautiful post detailing right like that. You see? And that is rows 12, 13, and 14 of the Ihana Convertible Cowl pattern. That's how you complete that right there. All right, guys, give me a subscribe here on YouTube to get updates on more videos. And then head over to all of our other social medias, facebook.com/LOBabyBoutique. Give us a like and a follow over there. Join us in the LO Yarnies crochet group to chat on Facebook. You can find the link to that on our Facebook page. And if you want access to my entire design library of all of my patterns, you can become a supporter on Patreon at patreon.com/LOBabyCrochet. Links are going to be in the video descriptions. And, drop a comment if you have any. And let me know what other videos you would like me to post. So here we have all the way through row 14 of the Ihana Convertible Cowl pattern with, ignore that section because I didn't do all the repeats. All right, guys, happy hooking.